In the previous episode, we finally started to take Hildebolt's relentless land grab seriously. To prepare for battle, we began forging weaponry, crafting shields, and fully recruiting our retinue. We also worked on expanding our influence, leveling our church, building up food surpluses. We even crushed bands of raiders with ease. And the result is that we now have enough influence to lay claim to some of Hildebolt's land. And today, we're going to do just that. But before we march to war, there's one more critical step. We need to start building armor. You see, up until this point, we've been sending our troops out in their street clothes, or, well, whatever you'd call these. And sure, we could send them into the meat grinder as they are, but I'd much rather see them properly equipped so that they can stand toe-to-toe with Hildebolt's hired thugs. So today, we'll ready our troops and then we'll go to war. And by the end of the day, we'll have a dramatically larger realm than we started with. Hopefully. And if you're ready to crush Hildebolt, hit the like button. If you think we're about to make a big mistake, hit the like button for that too, and let me know how you're feeling about the upcoming war in the comments below. Or leave an emoji representing what you do in the situation for the sake of engagement. But before we dive in, it's a new year, and healthy habits aren't just for humans. Why not give your dog a fresh start too? Thanks to today's video sponsor, The Farmer's Dog, giving your pup real healthy food is easier and more convenient than ever. And trust me, your dog will absolutely love it. Ever since I started feeding my dog Banjo meals from The Farmer's Dog, he's been in heaven. I kid you not, he gets excited the moment that I pull the food out of the fridge and runs straight to his bowl. And every single time, without fail, he devours it all in one sitting. This is a big change for a dog who used to graze all day only to finish his kibble right before bed, probably hoping to score some table scraps. Ordering from The Farmer's Dog couldn't be any simpler. They take your dog's breed, activity level, and age and create pre-portioned packs of fresh human-grade food tailored just for them. And this is real food, made from whole meats and vegetables cooked at low temperatures so that it retains the maximum nutrition and moisture content. This is really the good stuff. Delivery is fast too. My first order arrived in just 2 days. The box came with everything I needed to get started, including a feeding guide, reusable container, the food packets, and even a cute little tote bag. So if you're ready to give your dog the fresh start they deserve, now's the perfect time. The Farmer's Dog is offering a fantastic New Year's special. Get 50% off your first box of freshly made, healthy dog food when you use my link. Plus, you'll enjoy free shipping and 24/7 customer support. Using this link and code not only gets you this amazing deal, but it also supports the channel. So if you use it, thank you. And a huge thanks to The Farmer's Dog for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back to it. Everything we do from here on out is in service of one thing: acquiring Hildebolt's lands. To that end, we need to make sure that our military is in as strong a position as it can be. So I want to take a look at each of our units and figure out what we can do to improve them, to gain more troops, and ultimately to beat Hildebolt. So looking at the spear militia right here, I can see that we have the potential to have 24 troops. We have 24 spears, but we only have 12 shields. And that's why we can only send out 12 troops. So that's the kind of thing you can learn by taking a look at this, what we're missing to send out more troops. You can also learn that our archer militia here doesn't need anything besides archers. So perhaps we can send out more of them and remove our militia footmen. Now, I think for most of these, we just need to wait for more weapons to be produced, and we should be able to fill these up in no time. The other limitation, though, is going to be our total number of recruits, and that's really the size of our village. So right now, we have a total of 108 recruits out of 180 possible. So hopefully over time, this will fill up, particularly if we expand our village. So we're going to want to do that a little bit as well. The other thing I want to take a look at is if we hold down tab, we can learn more about the strength of each of these units. So we can see that our spear militia is pretty weak. Has 1 attack, 5 armor, 0 charge, 0 anti-armor, 8 shield, and 10 impaling. So this means if we send these guys out, there's a pretty decent chance that they're going to be slaughtered. So if we want to improve that, we need to get some helmets, we need to get some gambesons, and we need to get some mail armor. We can't currently produce helmets or mail armor. You have to have policies unlocked to be able to do that, but we could produce gambesons if we took our flaxseed, wove it into linens, and built a tailor to craft the gambesons. So we are absolutely going to do that because that is going to protect the spear militia more. But we also need to think about importing helmets and mail armor, so we will set that up in just a moment. But there is one thing that we can do right now that we should absolutely do before I forget about it. And for our retinue, we have a whole bunch of money in our treasury, and I believe that we didn't upgrade all of our troops. So I'm going to go through and upgrade any troops that don't have armor with armor. And we had 6 total that needed armor, and we still have a ton of money in our treasury, so I think it's just fine that we did that. Now next, I want to put together that gambeson supply chain, so let's build a tailor. So I'm going to take this burgage plot right here, and we will add a tailor's workshop. But we're also going to need a weaver. And I think I'm going to place that over here. This will be fairly close to where our flaxseed is collected. And I'll build that right here. Now, I started to build this road out a little ways, and one of the main reasons for that is I've been thinking it would be really a lengthy trip to get from over here down to this part of the city. So I'm just going to build a road through the woods that links this up, making this whole area a little bit more pedestrian friendly. Now that weaver is going to need a whole bunch of flax to produce all of our gambesons. And to that end, I want to add more flax to our fields right here. And one thing that I read in the comments is that you don't actually need to fallow your fields as long as you're rotating them. So I think that we should take a look at every one of these fields and make sure that we aren't fallowing any of them. So when I see that we have flax and flax right here, all I've got to do is select wheat, make sure that we're not doing flax 3 times in a row, and we should maintain our fertility right here. So I'm going to do that for all of our fields. So I've adjusted all of these, and in some cases, the second year or third year crop isn't great, but I'd rather have 13% production of flax than fallowing. To me, that sounds like at least we get something out of this. Now, another thing I was thinking about is we assigned 2 oxen over to our farmhouse. And because of that, we are tilling and harvesting our fields much faster than we were when we were doing this all by hand. So it makes me think that we could probably have a few more fields. So I'm thinking that we'll spin around and maybe add 3 more fields right about here. And I set these 3 fields up the exact same way I set these up. The main goal is to ensure that we have 2 wheat fields over here going at all times. Now I want to upgrade as many buildings around here as I can. The main reason for this is it will help us generate even more regional wealth. And that's going to be really important because we're going to be trading for a lot of materials in short order. So to that end, I'm just going to hold down tab and then I can see the buildings that can be upgraded. And I could do 3. So that's the best that we could do. The other thing that I'm going to do is add a few more residences here. And it was mentioned in the comments on a number of occasions that for burgage plots with chicken coops, you get 1 egg per family. So if we add additional families here, we get additional eggs. So I'm going to add as many of these expanded living spaces as I can to our homes with chicken coops. And that was basically just this row of burgage plots. We are completely out of timber. So to that end, I also want to come over here and make a couple of adjustments. So we've got a logging camp over here. I'm going to assign a livestock to the logging camp and to our saw pit because we're going to be upgrading a ton of things. And I want to make sure that things are flying around the map. Then the other thing I want to do is make sure that we've got some unassigned families. I don't think we need to cut wood anymore. You can see we've got 18 months of fuel. So I will remove the family from there. And the other place I think that we have an extra family is right here at our windmill. We don't need to have 2 there. I'm guessing that they're not doing anything. The pantry's empty. And then finally, I want to take a look at our trading post. And that's because I want to begin importing some things that we really need that we can't produce ourselves. So that's going to be our mail armor. We're going to have to buy a trading route for this. It's going to be 240 gold. And then I also want to import our helmets. Now, for each of these, I think I'm going to keep the numbers relatively modest so I can control the budget. So I'm going to import 10. Because these are 16 each, that'll be 160 gold. That to me is manageable. We'll do the exact same thing with the mail armor right here. That's going to be 180 total gold. Now to try to make up for that, I want to sell some things. And I think that if we take a look at our army, we can see where we have some surpluses. So right now, for instance, I can see we've got sidearms that we're not using because I decided not to go with those troops. We've also got some extra spears and some extra war bows. So to that end, I'm going to open up some new trade routes, selling some of those goods. So we'll purchase a route for our sidearms, and I'm just going to export literally everything. And then for our war bows, I will export once we reach 72 in our storage. And then I'm basically out of money. So as much as I would like to do more, that's about the best I can do. Now, one thing I have to change right away is we're still producing, if I recall correctly, small shields, and we don't need them anymore. So we've got 2 joiner shops over here. I just want to make sure that we're producing our large shields, both of them. And then I've configured them so that they're both the same. We're producing 50 shields max at both. Oh no, that sound means that the time for war is right now. So we are going to need to take a break from enjoying the construction of our building to see what's going on. And it looks like the enemy unit has been spotted there coming through Hildebolt's land. Thankfully, they're going to run straight into Hildebolt's troops. That gives us a little bit of time to prepare. So with that in mind, I'm going to rally everybody. And I think I might also see if we can purchase some mercenaries. We've got a little bit of money, and I think that we could afford these guys. I'm just going to kind of overwhelm them, and we'll hire everybody. Now, we don't have a lot of money, so I'm hoping that this isn't regrettable, but I just want to completely overwhelm them. So I'll run these guys right over to our border, and I'll grab all of our troops and do the exact same thing. And then I don't want to tire anyone out, so I'm gonna slow walk it there. We've got everything happening over here anyway, and then I'm gonna make sure that these troops do run away. I would much rather that they engage with Hildebolt's crew than mine. And it looks like I can't escape it. We've got to get these guys out of there. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. They're going after all of these hired archers. That is not what I wanted to have happen. And with that in mind, I wonder if I should just not bring my troops over here. I'm going to have to. This was not exactly what I wanted to have happen. Or maybe I can run from this side and get them all. Okay, we actually broke them, and we've gained a bunch of influence, which is great. And then I will go into these last group right here. And we broke them as well. So that's wonderful. That's even more influence for us. And you know what? This has me thinking. We're going to pause it momentarily. We've got a big army. We're already paying for them. We've got a lot of influence. I think it's time to attack Hildebolt. It's a little earlier than I was thinking, but I figure we're never going to be as prepared as we are right now. So I want to figure out where we're going to go. And honestly, all of our troops are already heading this way. So I'm inclined to take this one. You know, this is not ideal. I think what we need more than anything else is food. You can see that we've got a little bit of an iron deposit right here, some berries. We've got a rich stone deposit, which is good. Some clay and some wild animals. I believe, I can't fully recall, but I want to say that this is a very fertile area. So that is a benefit. But I'd love to have something like this fishing pond, but that'll have to come at a later point in time. What I'm going to do is grab all these troops. We'll line them up right at the border. As soon as we get them, I think we claim this land. I think it's going to be the easiest one to grab. This is a close second, but this doesn't really have much of anything either. Honestly, we'll probably grab these two first. This one right now, this one a little bit later, and then we'll grab that other one last. But for now, let's line up. And I think I'm going to, while we're rallying, claim with influence. And I'm sure that Hildebolt's going to be furious about that. I would be. The gauntlet's been thrown. The gauntlet's been thrown. Okay, so now that the gauntlet's been thrown, we need to get our troops up there. I'm going to grab every single archer that I can find and send them right up to the top. We'll grab all of our infantry and send them to the front. And now the battle begins. I'm going to slow things down so we can create our formation. So I'm going to try to grab all the archers and just line them up in the back in a large line. Then I want to try to separate them a little bit, looking at what they have available to them. They have one archer, they have a retinue right here, and then they've got 2 infantry and some brigands. We should be able to overwhelm them if we play our cards right, and if we don't run out of money. It's the other big limiting factor is that we don't have a lot of money right now. So I'm going to actually press all of my troops forward quickly. And then I want to send one group specifically at their archers, because I'd like to take them out of it right away if I can. And you can see we are engaging in melee combat immediately with their archers, but they are also sending, oh my goodness, they're engaging with our archers. That is not what I wanted to have happen. That is not what should be happening. Oh no, I've sent way too many troops over. So hopefully we can break these guys very quickly. We'll just push forward. We'll do the exact same thing. Their archers, where are their archers? They're running. Are they broken already? I think that they're already broken. They're already broken. So as long as we don't break, we're going to be fine. So I will try to cut them off and make sure that we get our archers out of here. There we go. We're out of there. We're out of there. We're still fighting over here. We've got some guys just cheering. Oh, wait, broke them. We broke them. Their retinue's escaping. We can break these guys too. We'll just send them straight up. And Hildebolt has a message for us. 317 gold to end this? That's ridiculous. Absolutely not. We are absolutely going to take every bit of land that we can. And then we'll push forward into these guys. We want to break them. We broke them all. We broke them all. And our troops were coming up, so that is wonderful. And we have now claimed victory. And now the land is ours. And to that end, we release all of these troops because we can't afford any of them. Which is wonderful. I'm going to grab all of our troops here and send them back to our mainland so that we can disband these units. But we did really well. Okay, our spear militia didn't do really well. We lost a lot of men, kind of like I expected them to. Our retinue did perfect. We didn't lose anybody, and that's good because they're the most expensive. And for our archers, with the exception of the melee archers, which we did not mean to send into melee, we've done all right with them. So I feel good about where we're at. Now, the unfortunate thing is we don't have enough influence to claim another region. So that's where getting more food and tithing is going to be really important. That, or we need another battle. Back to the real world, everything is moving pretty smoothly back in our village. We've got a few new families who have moved in, and it looks like some of our construction projects are well underway. I'm going to wait for this one to finish because I want to immediately assign someone to our weaver's workshop. Now, I believe that we already have some flax, so I'm hoping that this immediately starts working. And I also want to take a look at our tailor's workshop and make sure that we're producing gambesons, and indeed we are. So we just need our linens, and we should be good to go. So now our biggest need is money. We currently have 1 regional wealth, which means that we can't tax anything, and we're going to soon have no money in our treasury. That puts us in a fairly weak position because if we needed to hire some mercenaries, we just won't have the money to do it. And we could upset the king, which I don't know that it actually does anything, but I don't want to learn. So what I think we're going to do is try to grow our city because right now we have no one assigned to our deep mines, and I want to change that. The mines are where we make all of our money. And we have to have people to work the mines. So to that end, I'm going to add a couple new burgage plots. Then I'm noticing one thing that's kind of disturbing me. I'm seeing that the pantry is full in a variety of locations. Now, these are individual farms that just we're not grabbing the goods from the farm and transporting it around. The other thing I'm noticing is that we've got a lot of unhappy citizens, and that's because they can't reach the marketplace. So this is something I really want to attack in a big way. And what I'm thinking is this market right here is too big. So I want to demolish this and add 2 smaller markets. 1 small one right here and 1 small one right here. But before we can do that, I need to figure out just how many workers that we're going to have at the market. So at this storehouse, I can see we have 1. We have 3 right here at our granary, so 4 total. 3 more here at this other granary, and then 2 here at our storehouse. If we wanted to provide a market stall for everyone here, we'd have to have 9. But I think that we should probably just do 4 in each location and just make sure that we're balancing things out. So to that end, I'm going to take one of the workers here from this large storehouse. Actually, I want to have 2 of these because I want to have firewood at each of them. I'm going to remove someone here from this granary and add another person here to this storehouse. And then let's get rid of this marketplace. We'll make 2 smaller ones. And my hope is that each of these resources will open up 1 location at each of the marketplaces. And this little triangle will give me 4 market stalls. So I'll set that up right there. And then over here, I'm going to do the exact same thing. The only issue is going to be that we've got a whole bunch of materials sitting there. And hopefully this satisfies all of our needs. Right now, we've got 29 unhappy people, but I think it should be resolved soon. But the big benefit of this is we should be able to upgrade some more buildings then. And you can see over here, we now have one that this one before could not be upgraded, but now it can be. Now that everything's been constructed, we have a couple of unassigned families, and they are going straight to the mines. And I'll assign all of them because I noticed that our berries are now depleted. So I'll take the forager's hut, pause it, and we'll have 2 more families that we can do something else with. And I'm guessing that you know what I want to do with that extra family. I want to send them to the mines because we need more money. Now I want to come over to these new burgage plots and use some of this regional wealth that we've now built up. And we've got to make sure that we are producing vegetables here so that we can feed all of our citizens. And then in the future, I'll add the extra living space to all of these. And I'm going to let things run for a little while in just a moment, but there are two things I want to do. First, I just want to see if there are any buildings that we can upgrade, and it looks like we have a couple right here. So now the 3 of those will generate regional wealth. I believe, again, that the reason we were able to upgrade these is that we've divided our markets. And then the second thing that I want to do is begin to tithe. And I want to be really gentle with this, but we've got to get up to 2,000 influence if we want to be able to take another region. So to that end, I'm going to tithe 5% of our food. And then I want to see why people are so unhappy. Looks like they are unhappy about the marketplace and the taxation. Both of those should get better with time, so we're just going to have to wait that one out. And I lied. There are 2 more things that I want to do. You know, our forestry over here is kind of awkward looking. I think I'm going to take our forester's hut and let them work a larger area. This is going to be really an aesthetic thing, but I think it'll look a bit more natural if we extend their area out to cover most of this side of the hill. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to spend down some of this money. We've got a whole bunch of burgage plots that don't have a backyard use, and I'm going to add them wherever I can. Now it's springtime, and during the winter I had to make one minor adjustment. Our happiness was not routinely staying over 50%, so I had to remove 100% of our taxes. It's one of the things that's really bothering people, our previous taxation, so I think we need to give them no taxes for a while to make them forget about our past sins. So hopefully we get new families moving in soon, but in the meantime, we're gonna have to do something I really didn't want to do, which is remove families from our mines to send them to forage. And that's because we absolutely must have this food, especially now that we are tithing. And to that end, it really doesn't seem like we are gaining any influence, so I'm going to tithe a little bit more. And I'm not sure how long we can keep this up, but at least through the summer months, it should be a little bit easier, especially now that we're collecting a bunch of berries. I'm slowing things down because we have a couple of interesting things that are happening right now. First and foremost, our approval has been high for quite some time, and a few new families have moved in, which I'm really happy about. But I'm noticing that we still have some requirements not met notifications. And I've got 2 ideas on how to resolve this. First of all, we got to figure out what their requirements are that aren't met. And it looks like they're unhappy about literally everything. So I'm going to try to open up a slightly larger market. So I'm going to demolish this one. Actually, we won't demolish it. I'll add one right next to it. And I very purposefully planned for this to be 2. I'm going to do the exact same thing over here. Try to open up another market with just 2 stalls. And now to get those operational, we're going to have to assign 4 new people to work at our granary, our storehouse, and the other granary and storehouse over here. So now we've only got 3. We've got to keep 1 available. So I'm going to assign 1 person here. It's not possible to add more here. So I'm going to upgrade this. We're going to have the exact same problem over here. So I'll upgrade this, but I can't add 1 more person here. And then we could certainly use more folks right here once our population grows. Now, the other thing that I'm noticing is that we've got a whole bunch of regional wealth. And that makes me think that things are finally progressing with all of our helmets. Looking at our troops, you can see that we are actually partially filled up. We have 14 helmets, 1 gabison, and 6 mail armor on our spear militia. Looking at our archer militia, kind of the same spot. So we are making progress, but that does make me think that with this approval and with the money, we've got to start taxing again. And I'm also noticing that our food supply is starting to increase. So I'm going to tithe even more, and we'll go right for 20%. Once fall hits, I'm going to drop this down to either 10 or 0. And then finally, we've got to upgrade some buildings. And you can see we've got a couple available to us. And I just love these level 3 buildings. Even though this blacksmith's workshop is fairly small, it still just looks really, really nice. So that was a good upgrade. Now, looking at this though, I've been thinking about something. We are currently producing a bunch of sidearms and we're not using any of those troops. And that makes me wonder if we should stop and instead start to produce some iron parts. Iron parts are valuable because we can use iron parts to produce crossbows. And I would assume that the crossbowmen are much stronger than the warbowmen. So I think that we're going to do that. The other thing I want to do is I want to expand the living space here. Because right now, if we take a look, we've got these two families residing here and they are working on the crossbows. But if I expand the living space, we should get another family here and produce even more. You know, and the other side benefit of upgrading a level 3 building is it gets us even closer to our next settlement level, which is going to be really big because we'll be able to unlock another policy. So I'm really curious to see if there are any other level 3 buildings that we can add additional housing to. And after looking through all of these, there are none to upgrade, which is certainly a bummer, but I'm sure that in short order we will have one. One more thing I'm keeping a close eye on is that our approval is now kind of in the tank. And I don't really know how to resolve this, short of just not taxing for a good long while. We have enough money in our treasury to pay the next royal tax, and that should come in March, so we're just going to roll without any taxes for quite some time, and hopefully our approval jumps up once again. Now at this point, I've let a whole year go by, and as new families moved in, I assigned a couple more to our granary, and what has happened is we have an extra worker here that can't set up a stall, so all they're doing is transporting things around the map. And that's been really helpful for us because that means that rather than spending a whole bunch of time setting up a stall and going back and forth to that, they're bringing things to the stalls that already exist. So it seems like everything is kind of balanced out. The one thing I'm keeping an eye on is our food source. We're down to 6 months right now, but we've got a whole bunch of grain just kind of sitting in here. So we've got the food, we're just not doing anything with it just yet. So I think we're actually in a pretty good spot. Now at this point, we still have 7 additional living spaces available, but I want to continue to grow the city because as I look at our army, I see that we still don't have a full army of recruits. So I'm going to build a few more homes over here. I tried to back that up just to the tree line. Right here, it seems like there is some sort of a path in the ground, so I'm going to formalize this. And we'll imagine that these are formalized goat trails. So at this point, I'll fill this entire area in with more burgage plots. And I'm going to call a bit of a mulligan on these. As we get away from our city center or our village center, the lots should be getting larger. Now, these aren't going to fill up for quite some time. We currently have 15 available living spaces, but I wanted to make sure that we're thinking about where we're going next. And I'm also going to be planting some farms, or at least setting up some farms in just a moment. But I think that we probably can level up some buildings once again, and we indeed can, including these level 2 buildings to level 3, which is going to be really outstanding. And that's going to be really important for us because that means that we will reach our next settlement level. And now, even though we're not going to work it for quite some time, I want to set up that farm. And the main reason for that is we are going to have at least 15 families here, which means that we will have 15 different families that need jobs. So the farm will take at least 8 of them. I'll begin with the farmhouse. And then along with that, I'm going to add a hitching post. And the main reason for that is I know that we're going to want to have 2 oxen over here to serve these farms. And then we're going to add fields all over the place. And just like that, we have reached our next settlement level. We've got a new development point, and I really want to be thoughtful about this one because there's just so many good policies to pursue at this point in time. So I think one of the more valuable ones could be bakeries. This would take our flour and it would make twice the bread with it, which would be absolutely amazing. We also have sheep breeding, and I've been thinking about starting a sheep farm so that we can have clothing. But the thing is, if we have a sheep farm without this policy, we have to purchase 100% of the sheep, import them from the outside world. If we have this policy, they'll breed and we could start to sell sheep, another revenue stream, and it would prevent us from buying 50 sheep or something like that to fill up a farm. We've also got the opportunity to unlock basic armor making, so we can make our helmets ourselves. And if we unlock one more policy after that, we could get advanced armor making and make the mail armor ourselves. And the other policy that interests me is advanced pond keeping. This doubles the capacity at the fishing ponds. So I'm going to be upfront with you and say that I'm not 100% sure which is the correct route to go with right now. So I'm going to hold on to this development point. And for now, I just want to set this farm up. So I'm going to order another ox and then upgrade this to a small stable. And then we've got a couple of extra employees. So I'm going to assign them here to our farmhouse, add this upgrade, and then set up all of these fields as well. So now I think that we're at a point where we need to sit tight for just a moment. One of two things is going to happen. I'm either going to have a big tithe once we have enough food and hopefully gain 300 influence so that we can attack Hildebolt, or we're going to be attacked by raiders. And at that point, we should have enough influence to take another chunk of land. So we're going to sit tight for a little while. And if I see that our food supply is more than 12 months, we will tithe our food. And if that doesn't happen, we'll be attacked and we'll gain the influence that way. And there it is. We're finally being attacked. Boy, oh boy, I am excited. Which might sound kind of ridiculous, but I think we're really well prepared at this point in time. First of all, look at this. All of our troops, we're basically completely filled up. We've got helmets, we've got gambesons. We don't have a lot of mail armor, but we're going to be fine. I'm going to rally all of our troops right over here. And I'm also very curious. I'm going to pause things for just a moment. We have a whole bunch of our new crossbows. So I want to see, what does this look like in comparison? We have missing recruits. I'm going to disband that unit so we get just our crossbows. And I can't tell what's stronger just now, so I'm just going to rally them. And oh my goodness, the range distance is 80. The attack is 38. I think that that is significantly higher. Yeah, we are going to disband this archer militia because that is just fractional in comparison. And then we'll rally the rest of the troops as well. Now we've got a ton of money, so I'm going to hire a bunch of troops because we're going to go after Hildebolt right after this. So we'll sign all of the contracts. And then I want to make sure that they're not going to attack these guys just yet. So we'll run over here. And then I want to find the green caps. They must be, yeah, they're all over here. So we'll have them run this way. And I'll make sure that we're lining up all of our troops appropriately. I feel very good about what's about to happen. I'm going to get our new crossbowmen and we'll get them a little bit closer. And then we'll grab this group right here. This should be enough to completely overpower these units. I think I might stand right there. Holy cow. I can see them immediately just decimating this group. Holy cow. That is wild. We're running past them even. Oh my goodness. Oh, no. This is, oh, they broke. They couldn't even get close enough to him. Now they're coming at him. I might need to run. And it looks like they got to some of them, and that's clearly not what we want to have happen. But thankfully our retinue's right here, and we'll go forward into them. It's wild watching them just absolutely decimate these guys. There we go. They broke. And look at our influence. We're now above 2,000. Broke them as well. Perfect. And there's one more group back here. You better believe we're going right to them. Or right past them. What are we doing over here? And they broke immediately. And is it a big surprise? Not really. So now that we've got all of these guys taken care of, and we've got almost 3,000 influence, it's time to take another one of Hildebolt's lands. So I want to come right up to the door, and we'll take all these guys. Don't go anywhere. Just sit tight, and we'll grab 100% of our troops and rally right over to their doorstep over here. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? We have an enemy pressing a claim. You've got to be kidding me. They're trying to claim this from us. I cannot believe that. Enemies declared. And you know what? At the same time, homie, at the same time, we're taking your land. That is ridiculous. I cannot believe that he just pressed that claim while we were in the middle of here. So the gauntlet's been thrown. I'm hoping I'm not going to regret this. I'm really hoping I'm not going to regret this. So let's grab all of our melee units. Or rather, I'll grab most of our melee units. I'm going to leave one back. Just kind of hang out here and start that battle. And then the one unit that's back here, we're just going to hang back. And then we have all of our archers. I will figure them out as everyone else marches away. And this battle is beginning already. So I'm sending our archers in back here. And you can see they're already cutting this way. I'm going to try to block them. I'm going to send my retinue that way. And then I'm going to take this set of troops and send them behind. Try to go after their archers. And you can see they are beelining for our archers back here. So I'm going to grab this group and cut them off. And then I'll grab all of the archers. Actually, I've got another group right here. I'm going to grab all of the archers and we'll bring them closer because I really want them to take out the retinue over here. We gotta make our way that way. We are going to push into these guys, and I'll grab that infantry to go into the retinue because they are just decimating us over here. Now back here, we are going at their only archers with our melee units, which is great. They should be taken care of. And in short order, we should be able to defend what's remaining of our retinue. Oh no, did we break or did they? I think they broke. We broke their retinue, which is great. So now I'll send the brigands over here and we'll send some more troops in to these infantry. And then I think I'm going to grab these two archers and send them back here because we've got to make sure that we start this battle, or rather that we are maintaining a presence there. Otherwise we'll lose it. So it looks like we've defeated basically everything here, with the exception of these couple of troops. So I'll just bring all of the troops in here and hopefully break them up in short order. Oh, we broke him. We broke him. Victory. So we can claim victory here. So interestingly, we did win that new land, but we're still fighting for the land that we had before. So we'll make our way back over there and hang out a little bit. And at this point, I don't know what he's going to do unless he's got troops marching in from this side, which he doesn't. I think we're just kind of waiting for the battle to end. Now he's asking us to drop my claims. No. What is he even thinking at this point? So at this point, I think we just wait here and see if Hildebolt decides to attack us. And if not, we get to keep our land. And we get a new letter. If we drop our claims, he'll give us almost $5,000. But no, we're just going to end that conversation. So I guess we have to wait here for 57 days. Although, I mean, he's got a lot of money. He could afford to field a pretty impressive army. We're just going to sit tight and hopefully he doesn't. And now with just 26 days remaining, oh my goodness, he has decided to attack us. He's also written us a letter offering us less money. Now we know what he's been up to. So I'm curious. I'm very curious. Can we purchase more troops? We can't. Although, is it because of where I'm at? If I come back over here? No, I'm just maxed out. My army is as large as it can be. So let's investigate what he's bringing to the table. Looks like he's got a full retinue. He's got one archer, some brigands, infantry, and another infantry. So we are still dramatically overpowering him, but it is important to recognize that our retinue is not in a great place, and some of our other troops aren't doing so hot either. I might actually take this group and disband them, hoping that I can get something else. There's only 4 in this group though, so that should be possible. Now the battle's finally beginning. Okay, so now I'm going to disband them, and look at that. I disband them and I get a full polearm militia. So I'm going to rally them right to over here. I can do that now because these are my lands. And then it's time to march into battle. And you can see they've got some brigands coming along the outside. I think they're going to try to reach our archers. We're not going to let that happen. I'll go straight for them. And then for the retinue, we'll send a couple groups that way. And then we absolutely want to take care of that archer. You can see I'm just going to try to overpower the retinue right away. And we'll push forward into that group. And look at this. They're trying to help out. We're not going to let that happen. And we've already broken them. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Did not expect that to happen so quickly. We'll go after their archers now, and we'll continue to try to break them. Apparently, this crossbow militia is just absolutely ridiculous. Everyone is terrified of them. But bluntly, I kind of get it. They're broken, so we'll send these guys over here. Everyone at the archers over here. And those guys didn't stand a chance. Look at this. We've got our crossbow militia just decimating them. Goodbye. Goodbye. Now, I think the only troops that they have left are their archers over here who are fighting melee units, and it's going to end poorly for them. There we go. They're broken, and it's a victory. We get to keep our land. Now, the unfortunate thing is it seems like we don't gain all that much influence from what we just did. And truthfully, we should. Instead, we're actually gaining negative king's favor, which is kind of funny. Either way, we now have 3 of the lands under our control. So I'm going to disband all of these units that we paid for and take everyone else and bring them home. And here are all of our heroes, victorious and dancing around. So we're going to release them from whatever they're doing right here. And then I want to make sure right away that we reinforce our retinue. I don't want to be caught off guard, which unfortunately means spending a ton of money for new men-at-arms and then a ton more for their armor upgrades. And I was able to equip all but 2 of them. So I need to remember to come back in here and equip them when we have money. And then for everyone else, we have to make some more large shields and some spears. But our big limitation here is recruits. Now I am noticing we've got a ton of crossbows. So while I'm thinking of it, we're going to open up a new trade route. And we're just going to trade away some of those crossbows. And I want to make sure that we have enough to have 2 fully stocked crossbow militias, which should be 72. We got to keep 72 on hand. Those are worth 8 in an export, which is absolutely outstanding. And there are 2 more things that I want to do. First, I want to assign a whole bunch of workers here to our farmhouse. Then I want to purchase 1 more ox. And then finally, I want to see if we can level up any more of these homes. And we can even take some of these level 2 and make them level 3. And at this point, our little city's in an excellent position. It's grown quite a bit. We've got a decent sized army. We control 75% of the land on the map. And really, if we want to build something, it's built almost instantaneously. So that leaves us with 2 main things to accomplish. We need to build our manor, and we need to conquer the entirety of the realm. I also want to grow the city considerably and make sure that all of our supply chains are complete. So I think that in the next one, we are probably going to take a beat from this community and found another community, one that's focused on food and resources that we don't have. But for now, I think we're going to leave it here, and there's only one way to end this, and that's with a quick walk through our community. I figured I'd start out in the newest part of town, and boy oh boy, this city is looking good. Even in the part that's a little worse for wear, this map is just so pretty. It makes anything look good. But I wanted to come into this part of the community because at this point, almost all of the buildings are level 3, and boy oh boy, this just feels good. Just feels really good. The other thing that feels really good, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, when we built these new burgage plots over here, all of the trees that we planted remained. And that makes me wonder if we should plant trees where our other burgage plots are. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about that idea. But until then, I think that we're going to leave it here. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And I want to thank you so much for your time today. There's a million things that you could have been doing. You decided to hang out with me and play a little bit of Manor Lords. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.